Miriam Schuckett is an artist, but instead of a paintbrush, she uses her nose to create her work.
That one's more of like a chai tea. I would call it tobacco. With the perfumer, it's like I know all my ingredients. I know all these materials. I have an idea in my head of what those smell like, and so it's kind of, or another good analogy would be like a painter knows all their colors, right?
Miriam created Lab House Perfume. She mixes her fragrant formulas at her studio in Exeter.
I actually see color a little bit when I formulate. There's certain smells that like I would describe as green, or there's certain smells that I almost feel like have a texture.
Miriam's interest in perfume started as a hobby after she graduated from college.
From there, I was just so inspired by how fun it was and the chemistry behind it that I decided to go back to school and get a chemistry degree.
Miriam draws her inspiration from nature. A simple walk in the woods or on the beach can create her perfumes. Viridescent is one of her most popular fragrances. It is an ode to a forest rich with moss-covered trees.
You really get your inspiration everywhere.
Yeah, really. I was walking through this forest in Dover, actually, and I noticed it was like just as spring was starting and the moss was starting to really like cover the ground and just crawl up the trees, and it felt like the forest was being consumed by moss. And so viridescent actually means turning green.
Miriam uses hundreds of natural and synthetic materials in her creations. She blends ingredients and she tests and tests. Trial and error is part of the process. To have a professional nose means many hours, even years of work.
When I smell a perfume, I can kind of dissect the different parts out because I know what they smell like individually and I've memorized them.
No training on my part, but I did my best trying to pair the fragrance with how it felt.
The beach?
Yeah,
beach.
definitely. There's materials in there called salicylates, and they invoke memories of sunscreen because salicylates are actually used in sunscreen.
Okay.
But it's also white floral. You get like some green grassy notes. This fragrance that I'm working on was actually inspired by like a dark stormy ocean in New Hampshire. It's called Surge. Sort of a men's aquatic, and it's also got a lot of those like briny seaweed notes in it.
But Miriam doesn't create a fragrance based on gender. It comes down to what you like.
You know, if a man wants to smell like jasmine, which might typically be marketed at women, that's totally fine. I mean, I think a man smelling like jasmine would make me just as happy as a man smelling like oak moss.
When it comes to the packaging, Miriam believes the designs on the box attracts people as much as the scent.
What you see there is really what I'm envisioning when I make the fragrance. And that's really important to me. And I think it like, because some people will walk past the product and they'll be like, I don't care about perfume, but I have to stop and look at this because of this artwork. And then it sort of like tells them a story of what it's going to smell like too.
Miriam promotes her perfumes at various craft shows, and she ships across the country. She's constantly creating new fragrances.
I really want to bring my love for fragrance to other people. I want to like teach them about the different components in perfume.
Alyssa Hamill creates candles with a purpose.
There's a way to sort of connect both mental health and, candles together, and that's sort of the direction that I'm moving this business in.
Alyssa took up candle making more than 10 years ago. It started as a hobby, but turned into something so much more.
I needed a little bit of a creative outlet. I'm a therapist and hear a lot of different stories from people, and I needed a place to put it.
Alyssa's line of candles is called Oh Happy Day.
Obviously, I'm aiming towards happiness, whether it's the work I'm doing in therapy for people or, myself. So Oh Happy Day, it stays.
Alyssa's candles are non-toxic, made with soy and beeswax. Each one is hand-poured. She loves experimenting with different fragrances.
I just named one Sunset on Rye, like Rye Beach, because it smells sort of beachy, and I just liked the name of it. One is called Carhartt and Flannel, which is sort of more of a masculine scent. It reminds you of just winter, being outside. This one is Hibiscus Palm. I try to keep them at a scent point that doesn't feel overpowering or, abrasive when you walk into the room.
Alyssa's focus on mental well-being inspired her new line of candles called Therapy Vibes. Proceeds help suicide prevention in New Hampshire.
I'm starting to donate 10% to NAMI New Hampshire. So this just started this month. If you don't know, spring, unfortunately, is where the highest rates of suicide typically tend to be. I donate to different organizations throughout the state, but I think I'm going to stick with NAMI New Hampshire for the Therapy Vibes line.
For Alyssa, candles mean comfort, and she wants to share that vibe with folks lighting up one of her creations.
I just think that having a candle lit just sets a very calm and therapeutic vibe.